Welcome back. It is not quite the next day. It's actually a couple of days after the spraying of the Raptoliner. This is part two of the Raptoliner videos, and I am very, very happy of how it's actually turned out. This has originally, when I sprayed it, I was kind of worried because I was kind of wondering, well, you know, it's kind of glossy, it kind of turned into like a really, it looked very glossy, or at least glossier than I thought it would be. But as it's dried out over the past couple of days, it's turned into almost like a satin type of gloss, not very shiny at all, which it's exactly what I was looking for. As far as texture is concerned, perfect, absolutely perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. I did not want it to look very rough. Actually want it to be as smooth as possible, and it turned out very, very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my camera and my flashlight, because the lighting here is not very good today. And I'm going to try to show you, how the end product is. And for those of you trying to, or considering doing this to your car, I have a couple of tips that may help. I will show you where I made one mistake, and that will maybe help you when you get to do yours if you decide to do this. First of all, it's a lot of work to get the surface prepped and ready to accept the Raptoliner. I went over that on my previous video, so it's very tedious. It's not difficult, it's just very tedious. A lot of sanding, that kind of stuff. The repairs that I made to my floorboards are not even noticeable because the texture itself helped me sort of smooth out where my welds were. Even if I grinded the welds down a little bit, it's still, barely noticeable. So I'm very, very happy with the results. So let me go ahead and go around the camera here. I'm going to grab it, and then I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to grab my flashlight too. I'm going to show you, or kind of give you a tour of how this turned out. Let's take a look. All right, so this is the inner fender. And as you can see, it's a very nice, even type of texture going all the way around. I had modified my fenders to be able to accept wider tires in the front, and so that turned out to be actually pretty good. I'm very happy with that. And I'm going to turn on the light right above the camera to see if it'll help you see what the texture looks like. And it went on fairly easy, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't like it requires some sort of special technique or anything like that. One thing is that I noticed that some of the people that do this to their cars, they use a black primer. I did not use a black primer. I used the gray primer. The reason being is that I thought if I used the black primer, then it would be very difficult to tell, if I've missed a corner or if I've missed any part of it, because it would all blend into the black color. The inner fenders and the rear turned out really nice. I'm very happy with that as well. I was able to get in behind the folded lip for the wider tires, so that made me happy that that's also protected. The gas tank, the spare wheel well in the back turned out very, very nice. I'm very happy with that, how that turned out. Very smooth all the way around. I did not get any tiger stripes. There were some areas that were very difficult to spray. As you can see, going into that cavern in there, it was very difficult to do that. And this is where I made a mistake. trying to actually get into that cavern in there. It was where I actually had trouble getting the gun inside there to be able to spray. I got too close to this corner, and as you can see, the texture on this corner right here, it is different than the texture on the rest of that that piece that goes across from top to bottom there. So right there is where the mistake is, and I'm okay with that. I mean, no big deal. I won't be able to really see that much anyways. There were going to be some mistakes. I've never done this before, so it took me a while to figure this out. How far away to spray, how much pressure and all that. And so I tested it outside on a piece of wood to see, you know, how or where I would get the best of my texture. And it turned out that as spraying at 55 psi and at about probably 13 inches or maybe almost 13 to 15 inches away, it gave me the best texture that I could possibly have asked for. One thing to consider is that they give you, and I'll go get one so that you can see what I'm talking about here in just a second. Give me 1 second, let me put the camera down. They actually give you 4 cans like these. These are 4 cans of Raptoliner. That's what the kit comes with. They are 24 ounces. It also comes with a hardener. One of our fellow YouTubers, his name is Brian. He has a channel called Block Garage. And he gave me a tip. He actually, I saw him do this, and he said, you know, go a little bit shorter on the hardener because I don't think they send you enough to do all 4 cans. Well, I'm glad I followed his tip there, because it's supposed to spray, put 8 ounces of hardener in each one of these bottles. There's 4 bottles. And I went a little bit under the 8 ounces. I would say maybe 7.5 to 7 ounces instead of the 8. And I'm not glad I did that. If I had not done that, I would have not had enough for 4 cans. I'm not sure why they send you that can of hardener that doesn't quite and make it to 8 ounces per can, but be warned that you will run out of hardener if you use the 8 ounces that they tell you to use, because they don't send you enough hardener. What I ended up doing is using, like I said, a little less than 8, so I would say 7.5 or somewhere around that, and that gave me exactly, I mean, it was just exactly what I needed to finish all 4 cans of this. I used a total of 3 cans, and I want to say 3/4 of this, and it was because I actually gave it 2 coats, 2 full coats, even though on my previous video I don't show the 3 coats because it's boring. So just beware that go stingy on the hardener, because it's not enough. As far as the texture and how hard it is very hard. I had sprayed some of it on a piece of sheet metal that I had, scrap sheet metal, just to see how it would do. And I already threw it away. The trash came today. But even after I sprayed it on that, I started flexing the piece of metal quite a bit, and it never even cracked. I could not even peel it off, and that wasn't even really nicely prepared. Like the surface of that piece of scrap metal wasn't prepared like I did this. So I imagine this is pretty strong and it's flexible and it's not going to crack, or at least I hope it's not going to crack. For what I could tell on that piece of scrap metal, no, it doesn't crack. I mean, I just flexed it and flexed it and flexed it. Almost it actually started splitting when I folded it almost completely, like if I had closed the book. That's when it actually, at the edge, it started sort of cracking a little bit. But, you know, I think that's an extreme, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So what's next? Well, big move here. We'll be getting the car off the rotisserie, and we're going to start working on the front balance and the radiator support area, because I need to make some clearance there to accommodate my intercooler. Since this car is going to have an SR20, I need to accommodate the intercooler farther into the front balance and still be behind the grill, because I'm going to be running air conditioning. I live in Florida. There's no way you can enjoy a car, you know, heck, my wife won't even get in the car without air conditioning. So I want this car to be able to be something that we can both enjoy and go out for a ride together, and you know, enjoy the ride basically, because without air conditioning in Florida, you might as well don't go anywhere, or wait until it's after 6 o'clock in the evening so you can have something that is tolerable. So that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm trying to make it as interesting as possible, but it's hard because it's just spraying and sanding, and that doesn't make it very interesting. But at least I'll give you some tips of, you know, what you needed to do and how to do it, and hopefully this will help somebody else down the line. And that's the whole purpose of this videos. Not only to document my work, but also to help somebody else down the line that is thinking about doing this on a Datsun, on a 510, on a 240, you know, whatever. I have a 240Z, which I will be also, once I'm done with this, doing restoration like this one. Hopefully I'll live long enough to do that, but that's the purpose, to do that. I'm 66 years old now. So by the time I'm done with the 240, I might have to make it an automatic, because I may not be able to shift. I'll be on a walker. I don't know. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today to see the results of the Raptoliner on the 510 chassis. And I hope you guys, you know, pass on the word that there's a video out there of an old guy doing this, and share it with somebody else. Subscribe if you haven't done so. That would be great. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.